Bonjour, shalom, and a big hello, and welcome to the second episode of our second season of Calling an Audible, a podcast focusing on national, regional, and local news sports stories with our own special twist. My name is Zach Greenberg, and along with Greg Johnson, we are your hosts. Today is our Super Bowl preview episode, and we'll also be covering a variety of other topics, including Anthony Davis, the New Orleans Saints no call, as well as the Minnesota Twins, Winnipeg Jets, and of course, UMC Sports. I know we're all excited to talk about the Super Bowl this coming Sunday, but first, Greg, why don't you give us some breaking news out of Dallas?
So this is actually kind of a blockbuster deal. Porzingis is going to Dallas, and here are the details. The Mavs get Porzingis, Courtney Lee, and Tim Hardaway Jr., and the Knicks get Dennis Smith Jr., Wesley Matthews, and DeAndre Jordan.
And this trade happened all within the last 20 minutes, and the details were just released
literally
as of
like
minutes ago.
5 minutes ago,
right
yeah.
before we started this recording. And you know, this comes as a big surprise to me because I was just down in Dallas for a research trip, and I actually got to go to a Mavericks game. And at the Mavericks game, I was watching Dennis Smith Jr., DeAndre Jordan. Wesley Matthews didn't play very much, but Dennis Smith and DeAndre Jordan were both having quite solid games, and the Mavericks seemed to be, you know, clicking on all cylinders as they beat the Pistons. But yeah, this is definitely comes as a surprise for me, and I don't really know how I feel about it yet.
Well, let's just break it down player by player here quick. Porzingis for DeAndre Jordan. Isn't Porzingis right now, he's still injured from his ACL tear, correct?
He's hobbled. I would put it that way.
Has he played a game this season at all?
I don't think so, no.
So yeah, so he's still recouping, and he'll be back probably start of next year, I'd say.
No,
or
he'll be back this season.
Late this season.
He'll be back this season.
But he won't. I'll just say he won't be 100%
He's just having his knees just having reoccurring injuries.
Is it kind of
that's the biggest?
Is it kind of like the Kawhi Leonard thing?
I mean, I think that's a whole separate situation.
Okay.
I don't think he's pulling a Kawhi Leonard here.
Okay, but Porzingis for DeAndre Jordan. Dallas wins that one. Tim Hardaway Jr. for Dennis Smith Jr. Knicks got that one.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think this is a pretty
it's almost fair.
Even trade on both sides. But
I just don't understand what is New York going to do with that stacked backcourt now. They have no one in their front court except Enes Kanter, who just recently kissed the floor and got...
Yeah, that was a little bit of a weird situation. I'm sure we'll go into that in our wacky segment later. But yeah, like, this trade just seems pretty even to me. You know, DeAndre Jordan's obviously a lot older than Kristaps Porzingis, but, you know, Kristaps this morning, he had a meeting with the Knicks saying how he wasn't happy, and then, you know, less than 12 hours later, he's a Dallas Maverick. So
this happens to go a lot faster than the AD drama because he equally wants out of New Orleans. And
right.
They haven't even budged.
Right. And the thing is, if New Orleans doesn't have a lot of leverage in this situation.
But they still have him for a full another season yet. They don't. A year and a half left on his contract.
They do, but one, he doesn't want to play there, and all the other 29 teams in the NBA know that he doesn't want to play, which gives all the other teams a bargaining advantage.
Yep.
For him, because they know that if they don't trade him, they're just going to lose him in free agency after.
It's in their best interest to trade him for as much,
so they can at least get
possible.
some value for him. And you know, he was fined $50,000 for making it public that he wanted out.
So that happens when you share agents with LeBron James, but
right. Well, and that I think is one of the places he might go. And just to put it into perspective, like $50,000 for these guys that's not a lot of money. That's like a nickel for you and I.
Yeah, that's like us going to McDonald's and getting a Big Mac.
Right. It's a small portion of their salary. But for me, I think he'll either go to LA or Houston because those are two. You know, LA doesn't seem like they're a title contender right now, but as long as LeBron James is there and LeBron James is healthy, they're going to be a championship contender.
LeBron James dragged Cleveland to the finals for 3 straight years.
Yeah, he could do the same thing in LA.
Yeah, he's going to. They're going to be the 8th seed.
As long as he can come back from injury and be okay.
Yeah, that big F.
But
he's getting older, slowing down.
He is getting older, and like a groin injury that's just like a pulled groin, and that can kind of be scary because
it's like a hamstring. It's
right. It can just
It stays there.
It can keep
and
reoccurring and then
never
just keep
truly
following
heals.
him
Yep.
and never truly get better. And he is in his mid-30s already, or getting close to his mid-30s. So, that can definitely slow you down after he hasn't had much injury trouble at all throughout his career. But I think, LA can make room for him, and so can Houston. I think if LA wanted him, they'd have to get rid of KCP's massive contract.
Was he getting like $18 million a year for like a backup point guard?
Some ridiculous number, and he doesn't play that much either.
Well, that's what happens when your salary caps go up by like 20
So
million.
LA would have to get rid of him to make room for AD, but they'll also have to get rid of one more of Ball, Ingram, and Kuzma.
Well as
a first-round pick.
So reported today, later in the evening here, just like maybe an hour ago, the Lakers offered the Pelicans like 5 different trade scenarios, and their best one they offered would send Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Ivica Zubac, and a first-round draft pick to the Pelicans.
And they would keep KCP.
KCP.
I don't think that's a good move for LA because
they're sending literally their best trade chips.
Right, they're sending all of their young guys,
and their first rounder.
I don't think that's a good decision because I think Ingram and Kuzma are both. They both play
Kuzma's
well with
the
LeBron.
best out of the entire group.
I agree right now, and like if I was them, I would trade KCP and Ingram, as well as the first.
I'd also move on from Lonzo Ball.
Right.
He's a great facilitator of the offense, but the dude still cannot shoot.
And then Houston could make room for him by trading Eric Gordon and Clint Capella, and they wouldn't need Clint Capella anymore if they had Anthony Davis.
But would Anthony Davis even stay in Houston, though, or is it just kind of like going for a home run, win it now?
If he's with James Harden and Chris Paul and potentially – I mean, Chris Paul's not playing right now, but –
Well, that dude's on a max contract with constantly reoccurring hamstring injuries. That's never going to go away.
No, and he's just getting older. But if he goes to Houston – they could instantly make a run at the championship. But the only thing is, Harden likes scoring. And,
that's all he does. He's
he doesn't share very much, and that might be a problem for AD.
He's kind of like Karl Anthony Towns and Jimmy Butler situation. Both wanted to shoot the ball, and both needed their touches. Where James Harden's just like, well, Chris Paul passes me, and I shoot. Why do I need you? Kind of thing. Or if my score isn't there, I'll just pass it down the post to Clint Capella, and he just dunks it home.
Right.
I think there's a stat last year where 50% of Clint Capella's points were in the paint, dunks or layups.
Oh yeah, for
the
sure.
Dude shot 70%.
That's his style of play.
Yeah, his field goal percentage was like 70%.
There was another crazy stat that I saw about James Harden that he scored like 263 points in a row that were unassisted.
Well, yeah, like the past 2 weeks, he's also even got was the average 40. I think just south of 40 points a game.
Right, but the fact
33.
that every one of his points are unassisted is pretty crazy.
Dude's got handles, that's for sure, but I feel like he's an isolation guy only.
Yeah.
That's just me, but so to keep going here, I was going to break down possible trade situations with you on this entire Anthony Davis, how he wants out, but since Porzingis just went to the Mavericks, that kind of kills everything I was going to do. Because I had a 3-team trade between the Lakers, Knicks, and Pelicans where AD went to LA, Lonzo to the Knicks, and Porzingis to the Pelicans with possibly Kuzma, some other draft picks, and maybe Frank and Kalina as well. But now that Porzingis is a Maverick, that just shot everything I was speculating. So what'd you have? Obviously, you had KCP and any combination of Ball and Ingram. So
yeah,
and then you talked about Houston. So
yeah, I thought the Knicks were an option too until this trade happened. So I just erased what I had on the Knicks.
Because the other situation was there's going to be the Bulls involved too. Lonzo wants to go to either New York or
New York or Chicago.
But now that New York's out of the picture,
I don't think LA gets rid of Lonzo, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't want to deal with LeVar on the internet either.
Yeah, but that's the least of their worries. I don't think they really care what LeVar Ball has to say.
It's LeVar Ball. I mean, he's still saying... Who's the middle one?
LaMelo and LiAngelo.
LiAngelo's the middle one.
Yeah,
he's still saying
LiAngelo's about to be draft eligible, and LaMelo will be draft eligible in 2 years. And, by that point, LeVar Ball will probably be the general manager of the Lakers and get them all.
Yeah, because LeBron's going to allow that. He wants Luke Walton fired, his camp recently reported. So why would he even...
Speculation.
I thought he kicked out LeVar Ball from Staples Centers already.
I mean, probably, but it's the dude's dad. It's kind of hard to do that and keep Lonzo happy.
Yeah, that's what they're going for. But anyways, to move on here. So there's some state news, and I'm sure you've heard the MLB offseason has been rather slow again for a second consecutive year. But word on the street is that the Twins are the dark horse for either Machado and or Harper. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I growing up, like I always, I was more of a fan of the Toronto Blue Jays being Canadian, but the Twins were a team that were kind of close to home, and I had been to a couple games when I was younger, so
Metrodome
I never
or
minded.
Target Field?
No, I went to them. I've only been to Twins games at the Metrodome, actually.
I've been to a couple there as well.
But I would like to go to a game at the Target Field because that ballpark is pretty immaculate.
Back in my youthful days, there's this competition called Pitch Hit and Run, and I actually got to do that on Target Field.
On the field?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
They have really nice grass there, and their field is well maintained.
Yeah.
But the tickets kind of suck because remember when Jim Thome hit that home run?
Yeah.
Way upper deck last season? That was kind of where my seats were. Like, not obviously that game, but is in that season. And there is not a bad spot on that field.
Oh, really?
I have to admit it.
Yeah,
I
got to go to a game there. My goal long term is to go to a game in every stadium of all the big four professional sports. So
that is a lofty goal.
It's a lofty goal, but I have hopefully another 60 years to do it. So
I'd say take a summer and visit like regional areas.
But going back to Harper and Machado, the thing people should keep in mind is that the way the MLB salary cap works, any single team, any team that you root for can afford either of these guys for a 10-year deal.
It just depends if they want to pay the luxury tax.
Right, and that's the thing. But for these two generational talents,
is it worth
I'm
it?
paying that luxury tax. I'm absolutely paying that luxury tax. For Bryce Harper, I'm absolutely paying that.
But the problem is, where's Bryce Harper going to play? Say he signs with the Twins. The outfield's crowded, first of all. And they have, would he play first base? Because there is reports that being Joe Mauer just retired, that he'd take over at first base if that'd be the spot he'd fit in.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I don't know if I would put him at first base. He's a great player. He used to be a catcher in college before he got drafted and moved to right field. But just seeing him at first base, that'd be like weird to me.
To be honest, Bryce Harper's the type of player you can really put anywhere, I feel like.
He's the definition of utility man with a huge bat.
And the thing is, and if you're thinking about it, he declined a $300 million offer from the Nationals. That's a lot of money. So
10 years, $300 million, yeah, $30 million a year.
Yeah.
I think he's pushing for like, what, 32.5 he wants?
Yeah, no, that's the thing, because Giancarlo Stanton right now is the highest paid player in the league, and he's getting $325 million a year. Or sorry, his contract's values at $325 million. So
he's got, is that still his life contract he signed with the Marlins prior to being traded? Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, so the Yankees have that contract
he's got opt-outs like every 6 years, I think it is.
Regardless, huge contract.
Yeah.
And that's where I think both Harper and Machado are going. Specifically Harper, he's for sure going to want close or more than $325 million.
I mean, being an MVP, his third year in the league at like age
and he's
21,
young and he has
22.
lots of time left.
He's 26 now. He's got at least 6 good years of baseball.
I'd say he has probably 8 years of prime baseball.
You think so?
Yeah, he could. I think he can do this till
as long as he keeps healthy.
As long as he stays healthy.
His biggest issue right now, though, is hitting the ball because everyone pitches around him. He's like the modern day Barry Bonds, if you think about it.
Yeah, nobody wants him to hit it because they know what's going to happen when he hits
right
it.
Field porch shot. I mean, honestly. But as a Twins fan, I do not want Manny Machado on our team.
Why not?
You've watched the World Series, right?
Yeah.
You saw how he thought he hit a home run, jogged around the bases, hit it off the wall, and so he's held to a long single.
Yeah.
And then he casually just has no hustle, just nonchalant. And then
doesn't really care.
And then there's that dirty play where he stepped on the foot of a first baseman.
You're just not the fan of the way he plays, really.
No, it's as a baseball player.
Right.
Those are the people you want to bean every single time they're at the plate.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. There's definitely players like that in football, too.
Oh, I'm sure. And it's just the dirty Bush League plays that they do.
Yeah.
Irritate me.
Well, speaking of football, we have a big game this coming Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl 53. It'll be held in Atlanta, Georgia. So, Greg, let's start off with our predictions for Super Bowl Sunday. I know you're a little bit of a Patriots fan, a little bit of a Vikings fan, so let's
More
hear what
Patriots
you have
than
to say.
Vikings. All stems from Randy Moss, but that's just me and my.
I mean, he was a good player for you and the Patriots, or for the Vikings and the Patriots.
That he was. So I think it's gonna be a close game because the Rams, they're like the modern day Golden State Warriors for football. They have every name possible on every side of the field. So with that, I think the Patriots will come out on top. It'll be 31-27. But I really want the game to go into overtime because you hear the Buffalo Wild Wings promotion.
What's that?
Game goes to overtime, everyone gets free wings.
Whoa, in the whole country?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not sure if it's going to be boneless.
I mean,
it'll probably be boneless wings.
If the trend follows last week with both, or 2 weeks ago now, with the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship
Both
game,
went
both
to
went to
overtime,
overtime. So it's highly possible. That's a good promotion for them to get people in the door.
Yeah, give them free wings, and they'll probably drink a lot of beer, and that's where they make their money off.
They'll make it. They'll make all the money back, anyways.
Yeah, it won't even be an issue.
Well, my prediction, you'll be happy to know that we're in agreement. I also think the Patriots will win, and I think they'll win by more. I think they'll win 34-24. I don't think it'll be as close as people would like to think.
What do you think is going to factor into that?
I think it's just the Patriots' offense.
They're just
there's
good.
always,
even without Josh Gordon.
even without Josh, Philip Dorsett's filled in nicely for Josh Gordon.
Chris Hogan too when needed.
And the thing is, when I watch Patriots games, it always seems like there's three guys wide open every single play.
Something we didn't get with the Vikings this season.
No, and you never will get that with the Vikings unless you get Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
No, I think it's actually Josh McDaniels. That's my opinion. I think he does
both of them. Josh McDaniels learned from Belichick's system.
I agree with you on that point.
Yeah. So,
but I'm happy to hear you have Patriots up by 10.
And honestly, I like Tom Brady. You know, he can be a little bit arrogant at times, but
he walks it.
But yeah, he proves it, and let him be arrogant. If he's making this much money and winning this many rings, I think he has the right to be arrogant.
Absolutely.
And if that pisses, he's not like a bad guy. He's never really been involved in any scandals. He's kind of comparable to LeBron James when it comes to...
Never been involved in any scandals. About the Deflategate, Spygate.
Scandals in that regard, but I mean personal life scandals.
He hasn't physically cheated.
Right, he hasn't cheated on his wife. He hasn't
do drugs. He's a good role model.
Anybody, exactly. For the most part, he's been a good role model with a questionable Deflategate.
He's been a family guy.
Right.
Absolutely.
And the whole thing with Deflategate, they lost that game by 35 points anyways. You can't tell me that the ball played that big of a factor to make it a 35-point
both sides of the field
game.
had it. So yeah, I agree with you. They got blown out. You can't scream and
if they
pout.
lost by 3, then maybe, but
not when you're blown out.
But that's already 5 years ago. But we're going to go into a little special segment.
So please do explain our prop bets you have going on.
Yeah, so prop bets are basically there's kind of side bets based on stuff that goes on during the game. The Super Bowl is one of, if not the most watched sporting event every year.
I would say it's definitely the top of the list when it comes to basically for the commercials, my opinion. Right,
and there's a lot of bets regarding commercials as well. So we're just going to do a little friendly prop bet segment here. And to start, we'll go with who do you think will score the first touchdown?
For me, are we going team or player? Player. Well, I'm just going to generalize and say it's going to be the Patriots because they're going to... But here's a twist, though. The Patriots are going to score first, but they're not going to have first possession. They'll kick to start the game.
Do you think they score on defense first or on offense
It'll be
first?
Offense, and it'll be a run play with Sony Mitchell up the middle from the 5-yard line. Because they're going to when they get.
So you think Sony Michel is going to get the first touchdown?
Sony Michel is going to get it. They're going to after they get the punt from the first possession, they'll charge up the field and just make a mark. Sony Michel.
I think it'll be Rob Gronkowski.
You think
will
so?
Get the first touchdown. Yep.
All right.
I also think Rob Gronkowski is going to have a huge game.
Is he going to
win the Super Bowl with the Patriots and retire?
Oh wow.
That's how I think he's going to go out, and that leads into the next prop bet of MVP, and I think Rob Gronkowski will be MVP as well.
I got to give that to Tom Brady.
I mean, that's definitely a safe choice.
It's a safe bet.
It's a safe choice.
I mean, it's the coward's way out because it's just Tom Brady, the GOAT.
Right. If nobody has a standout game, for either team,
it goes
to the winning quarterback, and that's just the
9
way
times
it
out of
is.
10.
Unless somebody has a standout game, and I think Rob Gronkowski will have a standout game against the Rams. I think that he'll be able to exploit some of their weaknesses in the secondary,
which is what their safeties.
And at linebacker.
They have what, 2 good cornerbacks. They have a good safety, and their defensive line is just atrociously great.
Yeah, their defensive line is unparalleled with anything we've ever seen before.
But considering what the
Patriots' offensive line is also
0
pretty
sacks
good.
against
they're
allowed
not
for Kansas City.
They're definitely a hard team to stop. But the way that the Patriots scheme,
whatever they do, it works.
I think it's going to be an offensive battle. I think, but we'll see how it goes.
It's not going to be a shootout, but I agree with you on that. So, team to get the first interception. We should even add.
I think the Rams will get the first interception.
You think so?
Yeah.
Is it going to be like a tip pass from the AFC Championship?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be on Tom. But yeah, I think John Johnson III. He had a pick in the NFC Championship. I think he'll be the one to get the interception.
I'm going to give it to Aqib Talib from the Rams.
The old guy.
Just because he used to play with Tom Brady before he went to Denver and subsequently got traded.
Yeah.
He knows Tom Brady too well.
Absolutely.
So,
and I just don't think it's going to be Marcus Peters, because the amount of times I saw Marcus Peters get burnt for touchdowns this season, way too many.
It makes sense why he got traded, right?
No, he's still there.
No, he got traded from Kansas City.
Oh, right.
Getting traded from Kansas City.
Yeah,
makes sense.
He gets. I mean, he's a good corner, but when he gets beat downfield a lot.
He plays these zones really well, put it that way.
What do you think the first song performed at halftime will be? By Maroon 5, Travis Scott, Big Boy?
It'll be Maroon 5, but it'll be the petition from all over the internet. It'll be that SpongeBob song in honor of Steven Hillenburg, who recently passed away from ALS, the creator and soul inventor.
I mean, that would be an awesome thing for them to do.
I think it'd be a great tribute to a person that enriched the lives of myself and so many children growing up.
Yeah, same with me. It was a big part of all of our childhoods.
SpongeBob is a huge part of me, and I'm not afraid to admit that.
It's part of everybody, and if people,
whether you hate it, love it, I mean,
and that's the thing. I don't think anybody hates it. I think across all cultures in North America, at least, it's kind of a common ground that everybody can say that they watched SpongeBob when they were a kid, at least for our generation.
Yeah. I'm proud to say I own multiple seasons on DVD.
Yeah, and they're all on Netflix. If you don't have them on DVD,
they're on Amazon Prime.
Did they take them off Netflix?
Yeah, like a year ago.
Really?
Kind of a hardcore fan you are. It's like 2-3 years ago.
Well, I've seen every season already. Why do I need to watch them again?
Because it's a cherished childhood moment.
You're right.
Yeah.
But
so, Color of the Gatorade. What do you got? Oh wait, no, I take that back. What's your song? I totally skipped over that.
Oh, it'll be Girls Like You.
Girls Like You.
Because that song's it was a top 5 song in 2018 for the whole year for the Billboard.
I wonder if they're going to sing.
I don't think they can go wrong by starting with that.
Yeah, that's a solid choice. So,
but for color of Gatorade, both teams are blue. I think the Gatorade's going to be orange. If that makes any sense at all.
Yellow. I'm going with yellow Gatorade for both teams.
Interesting. Yeah, in the past it's usually been orange or blue, I found, but I feel like with both teams being like blue-based colored teams, I think they'll go with contrasting color.
You think they actually put that much thought into Gatorade?
Yes, absolutely. Gatorade for sure puts that much thought into it.
You know, I really wonder how many people look at these prop bets and screw the system. Like the people that are actually in charge of the Gatorade. Do you think teams input say what they want, or the people in charge say, you know what, the bet is it's going to be blue, orange, or yellow. We're going to put in green.
Well, the thing is, with these prop bets, is they'll offer options, and they'll for this one, for example, they'll offer 2 or 3 different options, and then they'll offer an any other color option.
Oh, okay.
So that would fall under that. That kind of keeps, whoever decides on the color of Gatorade, it keeps it fair.
Okay.
Who do you think the last team to score will be?
It'll be the Patriots with that field goal to go up by 4.
And that'll seal the deal?
That'll seal. It'll be 1 minute, 20 seconds left. It'll be Stephen Gostkowski from...
So you think the Rams will get one more chance?
They'll get one more chance to score a touchdown, and it'll be some
and
sort
of... And they won't do it.
It'll be a defensive heroic effort. It'll be a
pick or something?
I bet you...
Or a sack fumble?
It'll be Jason or Devin McCourty getting an interception to seal the deal. and subsequently they're both are going to retire after that game. Because Devin McCourty is talking about it. He'll be like, what else do I have left to do in my NFL career after winning a Super Bowl with my brother?
Right.
So I think they'll both retire after they win the Super Bowl.
That's a good point.
It'd almost be funny if it's like a tip drill interception. Like one tips it up and the other catches it and game over.
Well, who do you think? So you think the MVP is going to be Tom Brady? I think it's going to be Gronk. What do you think? Who do you think that the MVP will thank first in their MVP speech? Do you think it'll be the owner, his family, God? Anybody?
It's always family. It'll be family, God, teammates, owner, and then et cetera all.
Yeah, for me, if Gronk wins MVP, I think the first person he thanks would be the New England fan base, I'm going to say.
And then he may casually make a joke about 69, like he's always been doing.
Yes.
So moving on, we're going to do our segment. We're going to alternate grinding our gears and our rivalry section, so that way we don't continuously have two of them. It's kind of a neat thing we both decided to do this season. So we're going to alternate it every other episode. That way it keeps it fresh and keeps it a little fun. So, Zach, what has been grinding your gears lately?
Okay, well, something that's been grinding my gears is the Winnipeg Jets have virtually benched their star young player, Patrick Laine. On Tuesday, he only had 10 minutes and 55 seconds of ice time, which is a career low, and his 3-year career average is 17.5. This kid's 20 years old. He had a 5-goal game in St. Louis in late November. Since then, he hasn't been very productive. He's only had 4 goals in December and January so far, so his production definitely has been down. But he's had 80 goals in his first 2 seasons. And he's by far the best goal scorer on the Winnipeg Jets. So I don't understand how, basically benching him is going to, how does that not hurt a 20-year-old's confidence? Like, if I was benched after putting up those kind of numbers at the age of 21, that would for sure bug me and for sure hurt my confidence. So I don't understand why Paul Maurice and, the Jets are sending this message that, basically what the message they're trying to send is you got to play better or you're just like everybody else and you're going to sit on the bench. But I don't think that's necessarily the way to handle, your young star at 20 years old.
Well, my take on that would be it's probably sending him a message he needs to focus and maybe he's not playing a 200-foot game. There's probably aspects he's slacking on because a lot of the critics of Alex Ovechkin, all he does is just set up in his office, score one-timer goals off the power play. Okay.
Right, which is Patrick Laine's game. Very similar to Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah, he's very similar. He's a sniper right-hand shot, franchise cornerstone.
Right.
I think maybe
they're playing on the 4th line right now.
Your second overall draft pick's playing on the 4th line.
Because of low production in the last 2 months when he had a 5-goal game in November and 80 over the last 2 years. Sure, he's going to slump a little bit. He's 20 years old.
Well, yeah,
he's younger than we are.
I just think they maybe want him to focus on maybe different aspects of the game other than scoring. Like, say he starts playing a little bit better defense, he'll move up.
His defense is not very good, and I'll be the first to admit that.
Maybe that's what they're trying to do, but, I understand you don't put
You could see why that would grind my gears, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, one of your main ways to score goals is on the 4th line. Just like the Minnesota Wild last week.
Absolutely,
2 weeks ago.
But 11 minutes of ice time is too low ridiculous for your star player.
Someone like that needs 17.
Right, and that's what he's averaged 17 and a half, and he's gone as high as 25 minutes in a game. But
yeah, I could see how that irritates you.
What's been grinding your gears?
So we all know that no call that happened at the Los Angeles Rams and the New Orleans Saints. My opinion and how I definitely feel about this is I don't care. The New Orleans Saints fans are a sad fan base. They definitely love their team. Their team is really good. But the fact they're constantly complaining about that no call and demanding a rescheduled game, no. Remember in 2009, the NFC Championship game? All those blown calls, everything that happened, those injuries. You remember how Brett Favre had that literally 3 ankle sizes up?
Yeah. And Brett Favre is my favorite player ever. But
what did Goodell do about that then?
Nothing.
How many blown calls were there?
But
Nothing.
There's so my point to that is it is a different game than it was 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago, there was no rules regarding quarterbacks getting hit in the head or getting hit late. Like all of these new rules that they've come out with to protect quarterbacks, they didn't have those rules in place back then. Yeah, it was wrong, obviously, for Greg Williams to conduct and Sean Payton to conduct the bounty gate, and it probably, I mean, Brett Favre's career was long enough as it is, but definitely probably reduced another year or two that he could have played because of that game. But that call, a hit to the head in 2019 NFL, that can't be missed, especially if that's part of the rules. And you have to think, Greg Williams is not on the Saints anymore. There's not a single Saints player other than Drew Brees that is still on the Saints that was on that team.
And I understand that point. The culture has changed in New Orleans.
The rules have changed. Everything has changed since then.
But us Viking fans during that time, we were equally as pissed off about that.
You should have been pissed off at Adrian Peterson for fumbling 5 times that game and losing 3 of them.
Yeah,
that's what cost you that football game.
Among other things, yeah. That no call and
the fact that late interception, sure, it was a terrible throw by Brett Favre, terrible decision. But the fact that he had to be even in that situation, you shouldn't have had to be in that situation because Adrian Peterson turned the ball over 3 times.
If I remember right, it went into overtime and they won it on a field goal.
Who, the Saints?
Yep.
Right, off a Brett Favre pick.
Off a Brett Favre pick.
Right.
In overtime, they won the game, and now they want to also change overtime because of how the Patriots stormed down the field and scored a touchdown at the end of the game against the Chiefs.
They definitely should change overtime, but that's a whole separate issue we can talk about another time.
End of my story is I don't care what the Saints fans feel like because us Vikings fans felt the same in 2009. Rules aren't going to change. Officials are human. Get over it. You stole our Super Bowl championship with intent to injure, which is more harmful than a missed call. But that grinds my gears, and I'm just over it. I
mean, fair enough. To me, it just sounds like a salty Vikings fan. But what else is new? But more news from around campus. And this weekend, the men's and women's basketball team will play Southwest Minnesota State and Sioux Falls, both in Southwest and Sioux Falls. So they're away this weekend. But at home, we have a home equestrian hunt seat show that will be located at UTalk at 1 p.m. And to wrap up our show, we're going to go into some ridiculous and funny, wacky sports news. Greg, why don't you go ahead?
So some recent video of how the NHL is on their current All-Star break and they have like a full week off. Alex Ovechkin has been down, I think, the Caribbean, and there's video footage of him just riding around on a dolphin in the ocean.
I think that sounds a lot better than, there was a little controversy about him skipping the All-Star game, but I think riding on a dolphin sounds a little better than playing in a game that's completely irrelevant.
And the winning team gets $1 million.
And could cause him to get hurt.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need that $1 million.
No, he already achieved his lifelong goal.
He already makes $12 million a year.
Yeah, and he achieved his lifelong goal this past season, winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
He wanted a little rest. That's respectable.
He's happy. You just let him live his life.
Yeah. And, of course, you're going to just celebrate All-Star break weekend by riding around in a dolphin, which props to him. I watched the video. It was actually pretty comical.
Yeah,
looked like he's having a great time.
He's a goofy guy.
Yeah, he's a goober, that's for sure.
And there was another wacky thing in sports was that John Gruden was seen putting stickers with the Oakland Raider logo on it on players he likes, so he doesn't forget them come draft time. I mean, it's a pretty interesting way of identifying players, and there's a lot of other ways that he could do this. But John Gruden, everybody knows he's a goofy guy, so
yeah,
this doesn't surprise me at all.
No, that's a typical John Gruden way. I loved him when he was Monday Night Football announcer on ESPN. He's always got that little wacky sense to him, but he's a smart guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. I don't think the Oakland Raiders will be good until they get to Las Vegas. But overall, it's a typical John Gruden move, and I just love to see it because there's so many different ways you could take that situation. But to wrap up, so thanks for listening today, guys and girls. You can find us on our Twitter page at CallingAudiblePod. So at CallingAudiblePod for pod. Listening to our shows on iTunes, YouTube, and Spotify as we get them up here in the future. So throughout the season, we'll be bringing in special guests from around campus to talk about different sport topics we may not normally cover. So be sure to listen in, as we always love to go back and forth with our banter, as Zach and I have a great understanding of sports along with each other, and our emotions definitely get involved. So for my co-host Zach Greenberg, I'm Greg Johnson. We'll see you next week.
Calling an Audible is made possible through the assistance of the University of Minnesota Crookston Media Services Department and executive producer James Pagachnik. The views expressed on Calling an Audible are not necessarily the views of the University of Minnesota Crookston or its affiliates.